Okay, so today we're going to talk about a grammar concept in Hmong that's quite common, action object modifier. So let's look at what that is. So in English, we run into something occasionally. If you look at the two sentences here, kick him and kick him out, we know that the meaning is quite different. So one of them, just kick him, is two words. There's an action and then there's an object that receives that action. Hopefully not, but it's possible. And then in the last one, we have the same two words, but we add a direction at the end to modify how that action was done. In this case, it changes the meaning entirely. We have some examples below: stand up, sit down, or run it over. So what about Hmong? Well, Hmong uses this pattern, but quite more often, a lot more often, and in some different ways. So let's talk about that. So just to summarize the pattern, it's action, what is being done. In English, that's a verb. Object, what is the action being done to? What receives the action? And then finally, a modifier. Modifier changes how the action is being done. So let's take a look at some examples in context. Now, I have done a video on this modifier as a direction, so that final word is a direction, but since it's very common, but let's just go over it briefly here too. So we have some examples. Ja nu shao, raise him up, or literally raise him, rise. Dia nu ta, chase him out, or literally chase him, exit. Zi nu mo, to send him away, to send him go, literally to send him go, sorry. Tu nu law, to draw him towards, or to draw him come, literally. Dia tu sha ta, to chase the thief out, or literally exit. So in these examples, we have our action. For example, the first one, ja, is an action to raise. Nu is the object that received that action. And how is it completed? Well, it's using a direction word to show that it was up or rise, raised. Same thing if we look at the second example, we don't just have to use he or she. Nu, we can put anything in the middle of in the object position there. Dia tu sha, so we put thief. So to chase or to expel a thief out. Okay, so that's a direction. Now the modifier can serve a different purpose as well. So modifier can show how an action was completed. Here we have two different scenarios. One, saw tua kai tua ta. Saw tua kai tua ta. So we have lightning, and we have our action, tua, to strike or to shoot, kai, a chicken, which is the object that receives that action, and then tua, which is to be dead. So the lightning struck the chicken dead. That's how the action was completed. And then we have an additional modifier, ta, to show that it was completely dead. It really isn't the chicken, it's just chickens. So it could be chickens, like a group, and they were all dead. In any case, if lightning strikes a chicken, that is how it will end. But in the scenario, the hypothetical scenario that it doesn't, the second sentence example shows how we can modify that sentence. So we have saw tua kai chi tua. So that second part, we added the word chi, the negative modifiers, to make it not dead. It's almost the same sentence, but because we added chi tua, it's showing that the same action happened. Saw tua, so the lightning struck the chicken, but it modifies how it ended, how it was completed. Chi tua, not dead. Okay, so here's a few more examples. Lo no chai ta. They eat breakfast done, as in they finished their breakfast or they ate all the breakfast. Or hao lu ji dun jua. So we have our action to do, or we're doing the action to work, hao lu. So we're doing work, but how are we doing the action? How are we completing the action? Ji dun jua, not ceasing or unceasingly.
And then finally, chao gu di. Chao gu di. It's a good example of, even though it sounds redundant, which it is, rescue me saved, or literally, or it could be save me saved. That's just the common pattern in Hmong. It's used quite often. Let's look at one final example, which is that the action doesn't have to have an object. The object can be implied. So we can write it just action modifier, or we can add the negative word in there to make it not have happened. Again, with all grammar cases, if you have examples, it makes more sense. So what do we have? Jia ji ying. Jia is to fight or argue. So someone is fighting or arguing. It's implied who with. If there was a sentence context, you'd be able to know who, but it's not said here. But in any case, ji ying, not win. So they argued, but they did not win the argument. Okay, same second example here. Ntia chipo. Ntia is to search. And then what are they searching for? It's implied. It's in the context, but it's not written here. And then chipo is not see. So they searched, but they did not see. And then again, finally, you don't have to use the negative marker if someone if they shot and they hit the target. They could just say and the context is implied what they hit. If you wanted to say they didn't, you could say same. So hopefully some of these examples may help you understand what you've already been seeing as you read or as you listen to people talk. This is a very common pattern. Feel free to practice a sentence example and write it in the comments below this video. We'll see you in the next video.